Wife of local sheriff deputy arrested for trying to use fake money to buy ice cream. I'm only 100% certain that I have an arrest warrant in Missouri. Story time. And I've been giggling for 24 hours since this happened. Several months ago, I found two $50 bills in my yard. They were underneath some leaves. They'd blown into the yard. They were like this in the yard, folded up in fourths. I picked them up, I brought them in my house, and I put them in my money bowl. I've basically been worshiping this money, hoping that it would bring more abundance. I was also hanging on to it because I didn't want my neighbors to be shortchanged. Like, if my neighbor came to me and said, hey, a whole bunch of money blew out of my wallet the other day, if you happen to find any, or if I saw something on Facebook from another neighbor that they lost some money, was this the only money? I don't know. I was in fact in my yard almost every day, walking the perimeter, looking to see if there was more money. When I would never find it, I would say that I hope that it blew in the yard of somebody else who could use it. I had good intentions. And then yesterday, I wanted to take a $50 bill that I got for my birthday, and I wanted to go buy myself a Stanley tumbler with it. And I went ahead and I grabbed the 50s out of the money bowl. Let's commit to spending this money. We stopped at this ice cream shop in Kansas City called Alice Scoopers. Highly recommend it. The whole vlog for another time. The clerk was just a magnificent person. Gave us every sample we wanted. They make this small batch ice cream. It's all delectable. They ring up our ice cream. We each got a little scoop of ice cream, and they had some of these like neat looking chapsticks at the register, and I thought those would be cute in the kids' Easter baskets. So I bought the ice cream and I bought the chapsticks, and it came up to like $33 with a tip. I went to go put my card in the card reader, and it was not connecting for some reason. They were having issue with their card reader, and I said, hey, I have cash if a 50 is okay. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, we can do that. And I handed them a $50 bill, and they hold it up to the light, and they look at it, and they look at me, and they look at it, and they say, this is not a real $50 bill. Huh? At this ice cream shop was the first time that I had unfolded the money. I had just shoved it in my wallet like this. Hadn't even unfolded it ever since I picked it up off of the ground. I'm going to insert a picture here of this being compared to an actual $50 bill. Honestly, folded like this, how would you even know? Even if it was folded with this cranky guy's face up on it, how would you know? You would think, oh, I found a $50 bill. I say, what? And they said, yeah, this is not real money, and pointed out that it's for motion picture purposes. I looked at my husband and I said, the yard money is not real. And he's like, what? And I start laughing and I say, I am so embarrassed. Like, we found this money in our yard months ago. I'm glad that it was at that little ice cream shop that I did it, and it wasn't like, you know, at some big box store that probably would have called security. So embarrassing. So I sit down, and I had a real $50 bill, so I paid for the ice cream with my real $50 bill. And I sit down and I start comparing the two, and I'm just kind of giggling to myself. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe that happened. And I send my kids a little Snapchat, and I'm like, hey, yard money's fake. And I get a message from my youngest that says, no wonder that didn't work when I tried to use it at Dylan's when you guys were on vacation. because the kids needed something, and I said, just take the yard money out of the money bowl and go to Dillon's and get what you need. And the machine would not accept this. We enjoyed our ice cream. We giggled some more. They got busy. Perhaps there wasn't enough time to call the police. I don't know, but I drive a very recognizable, very memorable car, and I was just so worried that I was going to get pulled over. It's not like it's counterfeit. It isn't like I tried to pass a counterfeit bill. Is it counterfeit? I'm going to get arrested. I don't look good in orange. This orange hat's an exception, but an orange jumpsuit is not for big mamas like me. I'm gonna throw them away today. Even funnier, I was gonna use these to pay my kids for watching our dogs. I was just like, let's get the yard money. I feel so dumb. At any rate, if you don't hear from me for a while, I probably need bail. Yeah, they're going in the garbage when I get home. I may even tear them in half. I don't want anybody else to get duped by this. And you know, the more that I sat there at the ice cream shop and I thought about the yard money and how I was obsessed with like looking around the yard for more, and when Lucy cut the grass a couple of weeks ago, I was so worried she was gonna shred up $100 bills. Fake the whole time. I don't really think I'm gonna get arrested, but I felt like the newspaper headlines wrote themselves. Wife of local sheriff deputy arrested for trying to use fake money to buy ice cream. Ice cream. Anyways. Wait, was one of those real? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, they're fake. Thanks for listening to my silly story.